The McDonald's Monopoly Scam.
Inside a stuffy field office of the FBI in Jacksonville. It's a notoriously sleepy outpost of the Bureau.
You know, just off rip, I thought they were going to break down, like, straight away what, you know, Monopoly is, the chances of why it's not likely, so it's a scam. This has started in an FBI room. Is there something I've missed here? I love McDonald's Monopoly. It's actually one of my favorite things. It, like, allows me to eat really bad food, and it's like I'm collecting stuff. But this is actually an FBI office. Okay, I'm ready for my world to be shattered.
Until today. A mysterious informant calls up the office to let them know that the famous beloved McDonald's Monopoly game is rigged. A ring of criminals have been secretly pulling the strings for over a decade. More than $24 million have been stolen. The FBI kicks off a manhunt with 25 agents on the case. 20,000 phone numbers will be surveilled. It will ultimately result in a massive undercover sting operation.
So it wasn't McDonald's that did the scam. People had found a way of playing the system. Is this what I'm hearing? How is it stolen? If they technically, I'm going to find out. I'm going to find out. At the minute, I don't know if I should. But I kind of respect the hustle. I mean, billionaires, lost money. Ooh.
The agents will discover that behind this scheme is a vast network of mafiosos, psychics, strip club owners, and Mormons. But
what a pairing! Strip club owners and Mormons. Everybody was in on this. Everybody was in on this. There is not a certain group that was just excluded. They just went, hell yeah, why not? Let's get some money. Wait, you worked for McDonald's during this time. If you have any insights, put them in here.
one mastermind sits at the center of it all. He holds the keys to the treasure and rakes in most of the profits. He's known by most as Uncle Jerry.
Uncle Jerry the Kingpin. Look at him. He's a former policeman. Right.
How did he do it?
Fun documentary.
It's the Monopoly game, only at McDonald's. With over 50 million prizes, it's supersized excitement.
Starting in 1987, McDonald's launched the Monopoly promotion and started putting little game pieces from Monopoly onto their packaging.
This
Real quick. 1987. Why do I have like a memory of a kid that it was new? Or is that just when my brain like developed enough where I could like form a memory? That's like a long time ago.
is Jeff Maish. He's a crime journalist who broke the story in 2018, 17 years after the convictions. His article went viral and set off a holiday bidding war for the rights to his story. He ultimately sold them for $1 million.
And I have one here. I don't collect many things from my stories, but I do have one of the original winning game cups here. It says pull to play, and on the side you can just see it says to collect and win, just peel off the game stamp and apply to your game board.
They used to have a board they gave you? What the hell? I would have loved a board. That would have made it so much more fun. Do you know how many like good ones that I think that I would have won the grand prize, but I lost? They always end up on like a weird pile on the side next to the microwave for me. And I always lose one.
McDonald's usually runs the game twice per year. The cash prizes are up to $1 million in an instant win. The chance at winning that prize is 1 in 250 million. The game brings McDonald's fat profits. Whenever the game is running, business increases by up to 40% more than usual. 1 in 250 million is an extremely long shot. You're far more likely to get struck by lightning, twice.
It would be my luck, actually, to get hit by lightning over winning anything from McDonald's. So that's a fair stat.
A caller on the phone with the agents in Jacksonville that day said that 3 of the recent big-ticket winners were in fact related, despite having different names. The odds for 3 legitimate winners to all be related are inconceivably low. The caller also claimed that one man, who they only knew by Uncle Jerry, was the mastermind behind the scheme. The FBI doesn't know this yet, but his full name is Jerome Jacobson.
I'm actually really curious. How do you organize like a heist against McDonald's? I don't know why, but it feels like less interesting than any other heist. You know, I think if you like robbed a bank, you could like flex to your criminal buddies saying what are you in for? And then, oh yeah, I performed a heist against McDonald's in their Monopoly game. I don't know if that lands the same, to be honest.
In a case like this, the FBI might have to surveil suspects to collect evidence. But what if someone collects all this information about you and they don't have a legitimate reason? Today, the internet is full of threats. Some of them involve our most sensitive information. In fact, there is a huge shadow industry surrounding our data. So-called data brokers snatch your browsing history, your contact information, and your online transactions. This data is often bundled into shadow profiles that are then sold. You may receive a robocall or tailored email based on your shadow profile.
I mean, if you've also seen a really, really fantastic, it might be one of the best movies of the last 10 years, but it's a film featuring Ice Cube, all about data. Seriously, if you haven't seen it, look it up. It's definitely a watch.
Worst case scenario, someone may try to steal your identity. Incognito helps you to remove your data from the numerous lists of data brokers. You just create your account and give Incognito.
I got hit by an ad. I've discussed an ad. Do you know what? This ad actually is better than that movie that I've just told you to go Google. So joke's on you.
Jerry Jacobson is one of those just incredible characters in American true crime history, because he was at one stage a good guy, a police officer in Florida.
As a kid, Jerry is obsessed with becoming an FBI agent. When he starts working as a police officer, it seems like he's on that track. But his career in law enforcement is very brief. He develops health problems and is unable to continue. Later, he finds a job in security at Simon Marketing. This is where he really finds his stride. He's known for being ultra-professional and ultra-fastidious, so he quickly rises through the ranks. In just a few years, he's earning 6 times his police officer salary.
So he didn't even need the money. Bro's earning 6x his last salary and still wanted more. Greedy, greedy, greedy man. Greedy, greedy man. Also, Breaking Bad to rob McDonald's doesn't have the same Heisenberg appeal.
It's the end of the 80s. Jerry is now the head of security at Simon Marketing. McDonald's outsources almost all of their promotional activity to the company. So when the chain comes up with the ingenious idea of starting a monopoly promotion, Simon Marketing is tasked with producing and distributing the game pieces.
So it was Jerry's job to ensure the security of the entire promotion. So he arrived at work, he had to supervise the big supercomputer that would draw the winning piece. He would supervise the technicians who were putting the winning tokens onto the packaging. He had to personally scissor them out from a printing press.
He was the guy responsible for doing it all. So I'm assuming he was just giving people information on where he sent things. That also as well feels like you're the worst person to organize this. If I'm anything, who was in charge of the project? Who would have the inside information to start all this? Oh, hey Jerry, by the way, the game that you made for us, yeah, someone's rigging it. Any explanation for that?
A tough boss. As a former cop, he's obsessed with rules and security. He's constantly writing up people for little missteps, and he hounds everyone in the factory involved in token production, even following them to the bathroom and checking their shoes to make sure none have been stolen. Jerry personally delivers the winning pieces to McDonald's packaging factories across the country.
He hides each piece in a secret vest that he wears under his shirt as he's traveling around the United States, feeling a little bit like a secret agent or a superhero with a secret. Every time he arrives in a new state, he's carrying a secret piece that's going to make somebody a millionaire.
Why would they not have more checks and balances in place? I know. I feel like you'd want to go through a few more layers of security for something that could win someone $1 million, right? So this guy couldn't be an FBI agent. So I'm kind of seeing where this is going. The ego might be rising from the top secret McDonald's deliveries. He is living out an extreme fantasy for this right now.
Game pieces are released. Jerry makes a big flashy show of how secure the process was. In truth, Jerry starts stealing from McDonald's. His first theft is small fry. At this point, he only wants to help his stepbrother Marvin Braun out, and maybe show off a bit to prove that he can. So in 1989, he gives Marvin a game piece worth $25,000. Marvin is the first fake winner. Pretty much a victimless crime, right? McDonald's is giving away the money anyway, and it's not like the chain is some noble charity. The game earns them considerable profits. Plus, Jerry later testifies that whenever the computer selected a Canadian factory to get a winning token, Simon Marketing would allegedly run the program again so that a US location was chosen. In Jerry's view, this means the game is already rigged in favor of American players,
Yeah, that is rigged. If you're running it multiple times to establish your favorite zone where people can win, yeah, I don't feel like you've like established a very fair and impartial system there off rip. Also, as well, really gonna hammer home, until I see evidence of it actually harming anyone, I'm honestly kind of in Jerry's corner. I'm not gonna lose any sleep over McDonald's losing pennies to them. You know, that's effectively them just throwing a fiver out. And 40% extra customers, like, by the way, whilst this running is what they said. I think whatever was stolen probably made up for in like a day or two of the promotion running. At the minute, Jerry's kind of a bit of a rock star.
Why not get his own piece of the pie?
And then one day he's talking to his butcher in the local supermarket, and he tells the butcher what's going on, and the butcher says, well, I'd like to win.
Jerry agrees, but he wants to make sure that nothing traces back to him, so he instructs the butcher to give the prize to a friend of his.
And of course, Jerry turns on his television one day, and there's a commercial for McDonald's with a lucky winner on it, and he sees his butcher celebrating his win, and he goes crazy. And he calls the butcher and says, what are you doing? We know each other. You can't... we're friends.
Bro, literally made Jerry target number one. Why would you accept the TV interview for it? Why wouldn't you just take the prize and skulk off into the shadows of your winnings? The thing is, if you keep this old Jerry on your good side and Jerry's happy to keep going, you could get a lot more money than the initial win. It does feel like a short-sighted thing to go on TV and have a 5 minute of fame where you could have had like a bit of a shady business on the side. Not endorsing that, but you know, go big or go home, so to speak. It's not McDonald's that should be hurt to customers. Then the customers don't trust McDonald's anymore, so in reality it hurts McDonald's more than you think. That's true. I guess if you don't trust McDonald's to run a promotion, you wouldn't trust them as a company to even purchase from them, which then I guess then trickles down, but they'd cut employees. Yeah, no, that's a fair point, Lola. That is a fair point. I didn't consider that.
Jerry decides that in the future he's going to have to find winners at random. He needs people that are not connected to him at all. And so the conspiracy grows bigger. Until
this point, it's all relatively small amounts of money. But one day, Jerry receives a package by mistake.
So did they just say 25? Was it 25 grand? But that is not a small amount of money. I think that might be more than I get a year. I'm going to give it a stack. If someone came up to me and said, hey, do you want your yearly salary? Yes, that's a massive amount of money. Let's not diminish that. That is a big win.
And inside, a blank set of anti-tamper seals from Hong Kong, which means that he has everything he needs to open the envelopes and steal the game pieces for himself, and then use a spare seal to stick it back down and basically get away with the crime. Simon Marketing, the company that Jerry works for, hires an independent auditor to make sure everything's going okay. Remember, this is a multi-million-dollar promotion. They have to be all buttoned up.
This is really giving me like the Wolf of Obese Street. I feel like you could have a larger actor play Jerry, and it would really kind of feel like the Wolf of Wall Street, McDonald's edition. Genuinely, I would watch this movie. I'm surprised someone hasn't made it.
The auditor is a very serious woman. She means business. She accompanies Jerry everywhere, and Jerry's always getting on her nerves. When he wants to fly first class on the company card, she insists on sitting in coach. He's getting drunk and bragging to her about it, showing off the empty liquor bottles. He's shutting up whoever will listen, bragging about once having been a cop. He's also obsessed with accumulating airline points, so he's flying to factories in random cities just because. And the whole time she has to follow him. She's watching Uncle Jerry like a hawk. Her job is to make sure that when Jerry hands the winning ticket over to a factory, that everything goes as it should, that the tickets always stay in his special security vest. And they do, up to a point. The point where she can't follow him. In the men's bathroom, Jerry quits procrastinating. With a few quick, deliberate movements, he takes the envelopes with winning pieces out of his vest, opens the seal, and replaces them with regular game pieces. He seals the envelope back down with one of his special anti-tamper seals, the godsend from Hong Kong, and slinks back to his seat like nothing ever happened.
Jerry's out here drinking, bragging, living like a rock star, and then just committing crimes on the John. Weird amount of respect here. Not respect as an individual. It doesn't seem like the greatest guy in the world, but I have to say that your life's kind of going to be ruined, but you are making the most of the short term, and I appreciate that, Jerry.
The auditor has no idea. If the anti-tamper seals had not been accidentally mailed to him, and the auditor assigned to him hadn't been female, maybe none of this would have happened. Or maybe if he ignored the temptation, he would have enjoyed a nice, normal, comfortable life. Adjusted for inflation, he was earning over $170K per year in today's money. But he went for it. For Jerry, the opportunity to control the game is no accident. He doesn't believe in accidents. He's a superstitious man.
I know that at that time, this is kind of silly. At this time, he starts seeing psychics and mediums to reassure him. He's a strong believer in paranormal and faith healers. So he starts seeing mediums and psychics and fortune tellers.
I like the guy that's broke this story. He has a very similar reaction to this story as me, and I feel like he must have had a blast doing the investigation for it. Jerry seems like a bit of a weird one, but I can't help but laugh at how he's moving within this story. Do you know what I mean? This is probably delusions of grandeur. Got the responsibility for a massive franchises and companies game, and then immediately just started playing God. Played the game a little bit, was like, huh, all right, I guess I'm God.
Jerry now has full access to the winning game pieces, but he can't cash them in himself, of course. That would arouse suspicion. He needs to find fake winners who will pay him upfront for the game piece. His butcher, for example, asks a distant friend to pay $2,000 for a $10,000 winning ticket. The higher the prize, the higher the cost. Up to $100,000 upfront for a $1 million ticket. And it works. But quickly Jerry starts to tap through his network. He needs to put distance between himself and the winners. He's on the look for middlemen, well-connected people who can industrialize the operation, and being a superstitious person, he takes chance encounters as meaningful signs.
So he's at the airport one day and he meets another Jerry Colombo. And the two hit it off, waiting there for their aeroplanes.
From what I can tell of Jerry right now, the reason they hit it off is because he was also called Jerry, and that is like largely the only reason. I feel like he's gone, what's your name? He's gone Jerry and goes, well, you are my new best friend. How do you feel about making millions illegally?
Mr. Colombo is a very heavy-set Italian-American gentleman, and Mr. Colombo claimed that he was part of the infamous Colombo crime family.
Columbo bad news. That's why you were reacting, Columbo. I hadn't heard of that. I was about to say he looks like a mobster. I guess I wasn't too far off. So now he's going to be in the pocket of the mob. I feel like this is probably where the story takes a less lighthearted feel into. He's now probably going to get a little bit more force to it because it's now going to be organized crime, and I would not want to get involved with a crime family. I feel like that's where you go from like fun to, oh God, I've just found a job, but now this job could land me jail time, and my employers do not have a HR department.
Columbo is a larger-than-life character, like someone who modeled his whole personality off of The Sopranos, and Uncle Jerry is lapping it all up.
He's an entertainer. He says he's born in Sicily, raised in Brooklyn. He's got these underground casinos. And I think Jerry is just completely enamored by him. And he also seems like the type of guy that could find winners really easily.
Yeah, of course. I mean, this guy is literally Jerry's like role model. Jerry wants that like sleazy life, playing the game.
Columbo even has an out-of-zone strip club in South Carolina that he got designated as a house of worship in order to skirt regulations. He calls it the Church of the Fuzzy Bunnies, and he has the dancers read the Bible before they start stripping.
I wouldn't even say that I sign up there to be a religious individual, but that's got to be straight to hell. That's got to be the most satanic thing that I've ever. What was it called? The Church of the Fuzzy Bunnies. He made them read a Bible verse before they started stripping. Right. How would you be like temporarily like saved and then also immediately send yourself right back down to hell? Again, I'm not even someone that would like. I wouldn't say I'm religious. I'm like offended. I think I never get offended. I'm pretty neutral on a lot of things. You can say everything. I'm baffled.
Well, I guess God hasn't talked to you lately. He came to me in a dream a couple of weeks ago, and he told me what I'm doing is fine.
Who are these Jerrys? I think we should ban the name Jerry. I don't know what it does to people. But now he's a prophet. He's a prophet, and the Church of the Fuzzy Bunnies has been legitimized by the Lord himself, apparently.
Uncle Jerry appreciates Columbo's ability to think outside the box. It doesn't take much to rope Columbo into the scam. Uncle Jerry passes Columbo a game piece for a Dodge Viper, and Columbo is hooked. He is also obsessed with The Godfather, surprise, surprise, and has dreams of being an actor. So he agrees to be in a McDonald's commercial, waving a car key.
Jerry Colombo won a Dodge Viper, and there are two 1 million.
He gets to live out his acting ambitions, but it means he's now too close to the game to profit from it directly, so he has to start finding other winners, which helps the scheme take off for Uncle Jerry.
And this is where the web just goes deeper. Because every time someone wins, you need a new middleman, don't you? So you have to keep cutting people a slice of the pie so that it can eventually come back to you. So it's just going down a rabbit hole now.
Columbo is brilliant at finding new winners willing to pay, and he sends the majority of the kickbacks to Uncle Jerry. The two Jerrys are making each other very rich. Jerry Columbo keeps picking Italian-American men on the East Coast as winner, and his father-in-law gets a $1 million piece. Not exactly the move of a mastermind mafioso. To make the win seem random, his wife Robin convinces him to get women and people of color winning tickets in other parts of the country. For a while, it's all going so well. But then, everything changes.
Things are not going very well in Columbo's marriage. Robin Columbo's feeling like she might not want to be a mafia wife. She's feeling a bit paranoid about life in the mob. And one day she's driving with her husband, Columbo, and suddenly a massive Ford truck smashes into them. And it's a horrendous high-speed crash, and their car is crushed against a concrete wall.
This isn't deliberate. There's no way. Is this like a hit? I'm also going to say, and you know, I don't know how they got into the relationship. There could be reasons where she really wasn't comfortable getting into it, and then obviously there's that other messed up side. But just on the assumption that, say, they got into a loving relationship, once you get to the married point, that's kind of like making your own bed and sleeping in it, right? I feel that's kind of a belated realization that you don't like working in a crime family. But why get involved at all? Again, there might be something even more messed up about that. And I'm really hoping this is just like random, because it will change what I just said.
Columbo is taken to the hospital, where he takes a turn for the worse. He dies a few days after the crash. Now Uncle Jerry is alone. He's just lost his super recruiter.
Okay, that went a completely different way than I thought it would. I thought she was going to pass. Jerry Columbo's now gone.
And he doesn't know it yet, but the FBI is on his trail.
Who knows? We don't know. So many people could have called the FBI. A disgruntled winner. Remember, a lot of these winners, their lives changed. One minute they're poor, the next minute they got $1 million. They're driving around in a Corvette. There's a lot of jealousy. There's now so many corrupt winners out there, dozens of people. They might be drunk, bragging about it at the bar.
That's the problem, right? Like, loose lips sink ships. Like, as soon as you start like really spreading that, like I say, the web's gonna find out. You keep having to dilute it to make sure you're not suspicious enough. But that's so many people that you have to rely on, because one person, it's like a domino effect, right? You get one, you connect to the other, and then the other, and the other, and then the whole thing is just unraveled. All it takes is just one not so humble brag. This would have been a good time for him to stop. Yes, Smiley. To be honest, I feel like after you've pocketed like a fair bit of cash and nobody suspected you, that's the end. I think the end of it is before you get into the crime family. That, I think, once you go into like organized crime, outside of just let's manipulate the game for a quick profit, that's probably the time you should stop, because I think it was only ending one way then.
Uncle Jerry finds new recruiters to replace Jerry Columbo's role. Some are dodgy, like the drug trafficker A.J. Glomb. He's just jumped on for a 12-year sentence for shipping kilos of cocaine across the U.S. and sells most of his winning pieces to buddies from the drug dealing business. Other recruiters that Uncle Jerry finds are seemingly upstanding, like the Mormon Dwight Baker, a beloved member of his church with no previous criminal record. He's a real estate developer with 5 kids trying to get his dreams for a golf course and a luxury resort off the ground. But he struggled to find investors, and he also owes tens of thousands of dollars in back taxes.
So this is where the Mormon is coming in. I was wondering the link between crime families, the marketing agency, and then where's the Mormon going to pop in?
Fault would really help him, so despite his moral misgivings, he gets involved in the scheme too. But none of the recruiters are careful enough. The winners they select aren't random. Back in 2000, when the FBI gets the name Uncle Jerry from the informant, they know nothing about who it could be. Is he a McDonald's insider? Is it even a real name? McDonald's shares the contact information of all the previous winners with the FBI. To find out who Uncle Jerry is, the officers analyze the winners' phone records to determine who they were in frequent contact with right around the time of their win. All these people, who are seemingly unrelated and don't know each other, were in contact with a certain Jerome Jacobson.
I was just thinking, the guy that was tasked with making the game is called Jerome. To me, it's not the biggest of leaps to say Uncle Jerry might be a nickname for Jerome. I don't know why this is a grand discovery. One of my first port calls would probably to be to go and ask the person who made the game how it could be manipulated. I would want to understand the back end of it so I could understand how someone could manipulate said back end. Whilst doing that, I would go, Jerome. That's awfully close to Jerry.
The FBI is sure they found their man, but they need proof, like a taped conversation with Jerry and a fake winner that spells out what they're up to, evidence that no jury could deny. They convince McDonald's to run one more Monopoly game to catch him red-handed. It's certainly a reputational risk for the company. How would the public feel if they found out McDonald's had run a game they knew was rigged? But the company also wants to know who'd stolen millions from them, so they comply.
Together with McDonald's, the FBI come up with a McSting.
They create 2 big wins worth $1 million each. They then monitor Jerry Jacobson and his network closely and wait for someone to claim the prices. They listen in on a phone call of a friend of the Mormon Dwight Baker, Huey. He says that he plans to sell the winning prize to someone in Texas. This someone turns out to be his brother-in-law, who tries to claim the price a few days later. The second big winner is Michael Hoover. He was recruited by Andrew Glomb, the drug trafficker.
Now, Mr. Hoover is bankrupt and a casino pit boss in Rhode Island. So a bit of a sketchy character. So he rings the hotline and says, I found $1 million game ticket. So the FBI and McDonald's decide to go down there to meet him. They knock on.
If you're going to do this and give it to people, why are you giving it to criminals? Even if they'd made no connection, okay, these all seem to be a bit too connected and they just went, it is what it is. You know, coincidences happen. Why give it to the criminals? Because if anybody looks at that, they're going to go, well, that's a bit weird. Why all the criminals? Why are the crime family getting it? Why is the former drug smuggler getting all this money? That, to me, is an immediate alarm bell outside of any of the other evidence.
On the door, they've got a giant check, you know, the comedy-sized checks, and a video crew, and all of the McDonald's staff are actually FBI agents who are undercover. And so they do a television interview, and Mr. Hoover gives this long-winded story about how he found his magic ticket. He bought a copy of a magazine and the magazine had fallen into the sea, and then he bought another magazine and the ticket was in there. So the camera crew listened to this very patiently. The men behind the camera are undercover FBI agents, and they give him his prize and they take all that evidence, and not long after that, the FBI descend and they arrest everyone. So the FBI fans out, they arrest Uncle Jerry at home.
Imagine thinking you're like getting away with it because they're all in the right like attire. You got like an interview, you're like, I got a meal, they have no clue. I'm just lying on TV, they're eating it up. Like, little do you know that they are just watching you like, this mother, you know what I mean? They're just like, this guy is chatting out of his ass.
Over 50 people were indicted, and dozens of wins were proven to be fake. Jerry admitted on the stand to having stolen 60 game pieces. And for a while, America followed the consequences intensely. So many millions had played the McDonald's game, so people were invested in the story. Burger King tried to get a class action lawsuit together, alleging fake advertisement. The trial...
That feels opportunistic. How to make your reputation somehow be like as stained as a cheating game? Be a rival just to be, do you know what? This is my moment. This is how we finish McDonald's. To be fair, as much as McDonald's are a bit of a scummy, like, unhealthy product anyway, and Burger King is elite, I will say that's just like the snitch. You know what I mean? That's the person in school that no one likes. Yeah, they already know it was a problem. Don't you try and jump in on free publicity here.
Began on September 10th, 2001. Then the world's attention shifted. There were bigger things to care about than the McDonald's PR scandal. Nearly all of the 53 defendants pled guilty.
I have a thought. I don't want to put it out into the world, but it's really, really not great timing to shift attention. I will leave that with you. I will not go any further deeper into that. That feels suspicious. Uncle Jerry's suspicious.
Including Uncle Jerry. Fines were issued and prison time was sentenced. Uncle Jerry got the most, $12 million in restitution fees, and a 37-month prison sentence. Simon Marketing and the printing company who made the tokens were gutted, leaving hundreds jobless. and Dwight Baker was excommunicated from the Mormon Church.
See, that sucks. I didn't even think about that because the marketing company, obviously he is quite significant in. His actions just basically toppled a bunch of other people's employment. See, that's messed up because if it was only you affected, I don't promote it, don't do crime, but if you are, I feel like at least make sure you're the only one that could suffer from it. And that doesn't just mean legal action against you. I mean, just real life. Those people have lost jobs because the reputation of that company is just permanently blighted. Do you know what I mean?
The game of Monopoly was invented in the 1930s, the decade of the Great Depression, by a feminist activist. She intended to teach people about the evils of wealth.
Lizzie Maggie actually invented a predecessor of Monopoly called the Landlord's Game in 1903, but the game was popularized in variants in the 1930s.
Accumulation. By the 1980s, the decade of greed, the game's original purpose was distorted. McDonald's, a multi-billion-dollar corporation, used it as a way to make even more money. Then, that game was overtaken by an ex-cop called Uncle Jerry, who defrauded the corporation of millions. He turned himself into a real-life Uncle Pennybags, running around the United States, giving some people money, but taking more for himself.
Why am I imagining Jerry with a monocle? Yeah, you want a winning game piece, eh? Yeah, you want to win 25 G's, eh? Now that's all I can imagine Jerry speaks like. We haven't heard him speak, and now that's how he is for me. Why did they do that?
The perfect American fable. Uncle Jerry lived the high life for over a decade, but as anyone who's played Monopoly knows, sometimes you have to go to jail. It's just part of the game. Considering the huge amount of money stolen, the high price the investigation cost U.S. citizens, and the many people who lost their jobs through no fault of their own, Uncle Jerry's 3-year sentence feels like a light slap on the wrist. He's retired in Georgia with his 7th wife in a nice big house. Sure, he has to pay back $12 million, but at a relaxed rate of just $370 per month. Besides, people who are close to him are sure he kept some millions buried as a contingency plan.
What? $370 a month? People pay more for a bloody car a month. If he's got millions on millions on millions stashed away somewhere from these games, he's going to be rich and he'll never have to pay it back. That's outrageous. No wonder bro's retired living comfortably. Who's he paying off in the justice? Someone had a big win in the Justice Department and they didn't look at that red line on the board. 3 years and $370 a month when you've got millions stashed away. Outrageous.
That's just the kind of guy he was.
Damn. That was so well put together. Shout out Fern though. They've got so many of these. I want to check out more of them. Yeah, if you haven't already, I'm going to leave the link in the description. Please go drop them a sub. Watch the video again if you want it without my interruptions. How are you going to have like a crime family mobster story with McDonald's Monopoly? All right, I'll see you in the next one, guys. You take care. Much love.